What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. And I'm American. I'm not sleeping. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're feeling good. Wake up. It's midnight here in the U.S. at the time that I'm releasing this video. Right now, it's actually an hour and a half, 10:30 pretty much, that I'm recording it. Listen, I had a cup of coffee a little bit later than I should have, and I'm up and I'm like, well, let's listen to some music. And then I said, you know what? Let's listen to something that at least thematically will fit, right? Let me release something at midnight. And a lot of you guys had recommended this band, Midnight Oil, whom I have never heard of, but we're going to listen to the first track off of their album Diesel and Dust, their sixth studio album released in 1987, Beds Are Burning, which also kind of works for a midnight release. I was even trying to see if I had like a pajama top or something that I could wear, but I don't. So that's not happening. But what is happening is us about to embark and listen to this track here. I've never heard of the band. I don't know what genre they are or anything like that. I don't know anything about them, but I'm pretty sure that they are Australian, as I saw that in the comments down below. This particular track recommended by The Mighty V, Gary Speed, Ruben Austin. There were a lot of people that recommended this track, but there were a lot of people kind of going back and forth on like what albums to look at and what songs to look at. But this was one of the higher recommended songs, at least, from the band. So let's just go ahead and give it a listen. I don't know what to expect, but I imagine we'll discuss it a little bit after. So let's go ahead and do so with Beds Are Burning. Bada boom. It's coming.
River broke, the bloodwood and the desert oak, holding wrecks and boiling diesels, steaming 45 degrees. The time has come to save fair's fair, to pay the rent, to pay our share. Time has come, a fact's a fact, it belongs to them, let's give it back.
Really interesting voice.
How can we dance when our earth is turning? How do we sleep while our beds are burning? How can we dance when our earth is turning? How do we sleep while our beds are burning? The time has come to save fair's fair, to pay the rent now, to pay our share.
That makes more sense. There's a lot of accoutrements on the side of this track.
Far we'll scare the cockatoos from Kentar East to yonder move. The western desert lives and breathes in 45 degrees. The time has come to save fair's fair, to pay the rent, to pay our share. The time has come, a fact's a fact, it belongs to them, let's give it back.
That is so late 80s. That is so typical.
How do we sleep while our beds are burning? How can we dance when our earth is turning? How do we sleep while our beds are burning?
Okay, so first listen, never heard of the band. This is totally new to me, right? First of all, as the music was building itself up in the very beginning, I was not expecting that kind of voice to occur in the music. It sounded like he could have been like a punk singer. He had that kind of like that snarl. I don't know what I was just doing, but he had like a little bit of a snarl. He didn't really display it in anger here. It was more just like his personality, and like that's how he's singing. I like how it smooths itself up in the chorus, which is incredibly catchy. But I was like, as soon as I heard his voice, I was like, ooh, maybe this is going to go into like a heavier punk direction. And even though that did not happen at all, I still really enjoy the song. Kind of like what I mentioned as well, around the main groove and rhythm of the track, which is relatively straightforward. There's a lot of accoutrement on the side. You have some trumpet. I love the way that the guitar, for example, rises at one moment, just like a high sustained note that's being, raised up. And then the horn comes in off the side and kind of does the same note alongside it. At one point, there's some nice atmospheric picking alongside the main groove, which, by the way, the bass is laid down very nicely. It's just murky, driving, kind of heavy, but also kind of passively relaxing. And then I think you have some keyboards in here, right? Or synth or something else I think there was in here. I'm clicking really hard. You guys hear that? Peter Garrett is the lead vocalist here. Jim Mogany, sorry if I mispronounced the name, but he's handling, like I said, guitars, but he's also doing some synthesizers, along with Martin Rotzi on guitars as well. And then Glad Reed on trombone. So there you go with the horns. But I like those little side dishes alongside the main chorus that's being served in the track there. What I also really like are the lyrics. Let's talk about that. Out where the river broke, the bloodwood and the desert oak. Holden Rex and Boylan Diesels steam in 45 degrees. So, the only thing I know about the band, like I said, is that they're from Australia. And even though I've never been to Australia, I don't know a ton about Australia. I like how just reading, where the river broke, the bloodwood, the desert oak, I'm already getting this kind of image in my mind of what they're describing based on the scenery around them. It kind of puts me right in the story. The steam in 45 degrees. Listen, I'll be honest. At first I was thinking Fahrenheit, and I'm like, why is it so cold in the desert? I know nighttime it gets colder. But going along with what the themes that are being developed here in the lyrics is talking more about global warming, the environment, that kind of thing. 45 degrees Celsius. I had to switch my mind a little bit. The time has come to say fair's fair. To pay the rents, to pay our share. The time has come, a fact's a fact. It belongs to them. Let's give it back. Who is them? Now, that could be interpreted the native people. Sure. It could also be interpreted, and what I think is more giving back the earth its due, in a sense, especially based on the chorus. How can we dance when our earth is turning? How do we sleep while our beds are burning? How can we dance when our earth is turning? How can we sleep when our beds are burning? Our beds are burning. Our place of resting, the place where we lay down our head, is burning. There's disaster occurring. So how can we sleep? How can we rest when the earth is restless? I like that. And I like the idea, the time has come to pay rent now, to pay our share. Almost like we've been living, not on borrowed time, but kind of like on a credit with the earth, and like now the bill is due several years later, and it's time to pay up, basically. Four wheels scare the cockatoos from Kintor east of Yuendumu. The western desert lives and breathes in 45 degrees. And then we repeat the rest of the lyrics from there as well. And even here, once again, I'm imagining Kintor east of Yuendumu. Like, these are places, these are landmarks that I wouldn't know, but I'm sure local Australians and such would know and understand exactly what they're talking about. So I like how they're bringing this locality to an international level, basically, with the song, and actually inviting us all to look at the land, to see what's going on, and to understand perhaps what's going on down there. So I just really like that. I like how the lyrics develop. I like how it's sung. This is a nice little track here. I'm just looking on Wikipedia. It says, after Midnight Oil toured through the Outback in 1986, playing to remote Aboriginal communities and seeing firsthand the seriousness of the issues in health and living standards, 3 of the band members wrote Beds Are Burning. to criticize how said populations were often forcibly removed from their lands. Highlighted in the pre-chorus, it belongs to them. Let's give it back. Okay. So I was half right. There are specific references to certain Australian places and politics, such as Kintore Ranges and the town of Yuendumu. Vehicles produced by the holding company, the It's Time slogan, and the notion of fair go. So there you go. That was half right. Sometimes I can only be half right. It's like half and half in your creamer, you know? Anyways, I'm thinking of coffee again. Thank you guys for the recommendation. I hope that you enjoyed the music. Thank you for being here, for hanging out with me for a little bit on this early morning, I guess you could say. I still think it's technically late night, but early morning, late night. Or whenever you're watching this, you may wake up and be like, what's this random video that just popped up in my feed? You might have your notifications on, and you're like, why is JP uploading right now? Let's go back to sleep, JP. Anyways, I appreciate you checking in. You can follow me on Twitter. You can support the channel on Patreon. Thank you guys for the recommendation for the track as well. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm not going to sleep yet. And probably not soon. But if you think about it, how soon is now? Smiths. Bye!